What up, everyone? So happy that I have my new studio up and running so I can put out videos faster than I ever could before. So hopefully I can catch up on the boxes of July and move into August. So I'm happy I have the space because obviously, as you can see, these videos are getting put out faster than they ever have before. So almost done with the boxes of July. We have just a few more, I think 3 more, something like that. But anyway, Arcade Block, one of the last boxes of the month to always show up. Let's take a look at what we got. So this month was a double t-shirt month, and I'm never a huge fan of the double t-shirt month because you just don't need 2 really. Like, you get a t-shirt every single box, so if you're ever going to get 2 of something, like, I always hope it's not a t-shirt because you just get so many of them as it is. But anyway, we got double t-shirts. So the first one, let's take a look, right here. I'm totally blanking on what this is from. I just looked it up. So I didn't specifically recognize it. The Last of Us. So it's from the game The Last of Us. So that's what it's from. So I personally did not understand the reference because I'm not familiar with that game. And here's the problem that I knew I was going to run into from day one of Comic Block. And, I'm sorry, not Comic Block, Arcade Block. And the same reason I don't get Horror Block. I'm familiar with all the classics of horror and video games, but I'm not super up to date on them. I don't get all the current video games when they come out. I don't keep up with them that much. So a lot of the current references I just don't get. So it's not their fault per se. It's nothing to do with them. It's just personally me. Like, I'm not totally up to date with it. So when things like this come out, it's more of a niche market because you have to be up to date on the games and you have to be current with all that to get the reference. Whereas if they stick to classics, like, everyone knows the classics. Same with horror, same with arcade, comic books. Everyone knows classic stuff because they've seen it everywhere. Whereas current stuff, it's more of a specific taste. So I didn't get this one, but it's the Gildan brand, but at least they're doing the soft style, which is good. So it's slightly fitted and it's somewhat nice quality, but the print is good. One good thing about the Nerd Block company, their shirts are always from Shirt Punch because they own that company. It's their company. But the good news about it is we don't have to deal with crossovers all the time. They don't have to do crossovers because they actually pay for licensing because they're a whole t-shirt company. So they pay for the licenses to distribute game t-shirts and things like that. So that's the good news about getting stuff from here. The downside is that Shirt Punch never has like the best shirt designs and quality. Like, their quality's okay, it's not bad, but it's not great either. And the shirt designs on them are usually just okay as well. They're not blowing anyone's minds, but they're also not bad, and at least we don't have to deal with crossovers. So they're always acceptable, but that's the most I can say about it. As far as a rating on this, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because the print is fine and the quality is fine, not great, but it'll do depending on how you like it fit. I've noticed the soft style ones are always very short, so they're more fitted, but they don't quite fit that well. And like I said before, I don't think this is for totally everyone, because you would have to recognize that game or have played it before. So, and I'm sure millions of people have, but maybe not everyone has. So that doesn't hurt it a lot, but it does a little bit. And again, the design, it's cool and all, but not spectacular. So 6 out of 10 I think is pretty fair. So let's move on to the second shirt design. So the second shirt design is a little bit different. This is from Hannibal, and if I'm not mistaken, this is a new TV show that's come out because this obviously isn't Anthony Hopkins from the movie Hannibal, so I'm assuming this is from the TV show. And again, same story here. More of a niche market. You have to be like really up to date on horror stuff and on the TV shows to get this reference. I'm sure everyone recognizes it, but to like the shirt and be a fan of it enough to want to wear this, you'd have to have watched the show. And I'm sure the show is very popular, but not to the point where everyone would like it. So it's more for a specific taste. And also on top of that, this is a horror shirt, and this is Arcade Block. So what they did here is they even said it on the card. They're putting in the second shirt from a different block to try and advertise for it, which is fine. I don't mind that. But again, it's like, well, you paid for something and you're getting something else. Like, obviously, I don't think anyone who got Arcade Block is like oblivious to the fact that there's a horror block. I'm pretty sure they would know if they're getting Arcade Block. So it's not really necessary for them to advertise. It seems like what they're doing here is putting in overstock, which is often what I see them doing. Shirt Punch has some cool designs, but you're never getting the coolest ones. You're usually getting ones that aren't selling very well on the website, so you're usually getting like overstock and clearance stuff that didn't sell very well, and that's usually pretty apparent. And this is an example. Like, it seems like they probably had overstock of horror stuff, so they put it in another box, and that's why I'm never excited about a double t-shirt month, because it's usually overstock type of stuff. But don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this shirt at all. It's not like it's a bad shirt, but it's just obvious that they're trying to push something, and they're pushing it onto people that may not want it. If you're a fan of horror, I'm sure you've heard of Horror Block, and I'm sure you already have it. And if you're not a fan of it, you obviously don't want it, so this is kind of unwanted. So a rating on this one, I'm going to give it the same as the other one, a 6 out of 10. Because it's a fine shirt, like the design's cool, like I don't mind the design at all. It's printed well, and it's a cool design, but you'd have to be interested in that show to want to wear this shirt. If you've never seen it before, you probably wouldn't sport this shirt around. And again, Gildan Soft Style, the quality is decent, it's fine, so 6 out of 10 just on this side of good. Like, it's a good shirt, but not amazing. It's very specific taste and not necessarily for everyone. So both those shirts get the same value because they're pretty much the same story. So, moving on with the box. Next, we got a pop figure from Evolve. And I got Maggie. I wasn't super excited to see this one for a few reasons. One, same story as before. Obviously, you'd have to be interested in the game to appreciate this. Two, because there is the Evolve Pop series has a really cool one. The Goliath Pop is really, really awesome. I actually went out and bought it when it first came out, and I'd never even heard of the game before. I just really liked that figure. It just had a really cool look to it, an awesome paint job, and great detail. I think this would have been an amazing box if they put that one in there. The other characters, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just more generic looking, so there's nothing special about them. Whereas the Goliath, like, I think anyone could like that, even if you didn't like the game, because it just looks really amazing. Whereas the other characters, they're too generic looking to appreciate outside of knowing what the game reference is. So if you played the game and you happen to like this specific character, then that's great. But most people probably didn't and probably don't. And like I said, just looking at this pop figure, it just looks semi-generic. It has a generic human head on it, it has holding a gun, and it has a paint job on it. So it just is a little bit generic, so I was just kind of surprised. I kind of understand, because I don't think the Goliath Pop would have fit in the box, but I think this would have been a really cool occasion to have put it in there, because it's really not more expensive. These Pops are like $10, and the oversized ones are like $12 to $14, so I think it would have been really special to have not put an extra shirt in and put a little extra money into like an oversized Pop. Because I always think it's better when we get like bigger figures or statuesque types of things, whereas they seem like they took the more generic route out. So again, this is more for specific taste. If you like the game, then great. I'm sure it's a great game, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the game is fantastic, but like me, like most people, I don't think they have gotten around to playing it or appreciating it. So this may not be for everyone per se. Even if you're into games and stuff like that, the market is very narrow. It's fine to throw those in every once in a while, but that seems like the theme of this one. It's very narrow markets for specific people. Anyway, moving on. So something that everyone can enjoy, we got some coasters here. Now these are just like cheap little cardboard coasters, but the designs are really cool. They look like the old school NES Nintendo cartridges, and they just have some pictures on there. I haven't totally opened it up to see which ones are in here. Might as well. So yeah, so we got some classic ones here. We got Contra, Duck Story, Excitebike, and what looks like a Japanese Mario from the looks of it. So yeah, I like the designs, and these are exclusive to Nerd Block. Obviously, they made these in-house. There's nothing super fancy about it. It's literally just a piece of cardboard cut out that you can use as coasters. But to be quite honest, these wouldn't make very good coasters, because as soon as water hits this cardboard, they're going to puff up and be really awkward. So ironically, these wouldn't make good coasters, but they do have a cool design on them. I do like the design. I like the Nintendo cartridge with the pictures on it. I think they're very cool. So maybe if you didn't use them as coasters, you could put them on display or something like that. I think that would be acceptable, because they actually look really cool. I like the design of those. I think that's very nice. Next, we got some little micro figures. Now this is from the Cut the Rope game. These are called Namis. So these are just, I've seen these before, and I actually wanted to get some of these because they're really cool. I think everyone likes that character. He's just really adorable looking. And this just comes with 3 little tiny figures. I'll see if I can get my camera to focus. They're very tiny, if you can see them. So yeah, they're just the little character from the game, and he comes in like different hats and costumes and stuff like that. So it's basically just a blind bag of 3 of those. And I think they're really cool. They didn't have these. These just recently came to America. They had these, I think, in the UK for a while, because I was looking them up on eBay, and they were all overseas. But now I think they've come here. But I think they're cool. I think they're just fun little figures. Obviously just filler, but they're just cool little figures, like to put on a shelf, and they wouldn't take up much space at all. And I really like the character. I think everyone appreciates that character specifically, so I was happy to see that. Next, we got a CD, Coin Op Crush. So these are some DJs, and I'm assuming they're doing remixes on some like classic themes from Nintendo and video games. So I was actually pretty excited to see this. I always love to hear like DJ remixes of like classic video game themes. I always think that's really cool. So I have no idea if it's any good or not. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm actually pretty excited to listen to it because I think it would be really interesting. I'm always excited to hear like video game renditions made into current songs. So I hope these guys are good because this could be really good. So I'm always happy to listen to something like this, and hopefully there's something really good on there. So I was actually pretty excited to see something like this, even though it's nothing super amazing, but I think it could be really good. So I'm going to definitely check that out, and when I do the monthly review, I'll report back on how good it was. And the last item, we got Sonic Worlds Collide. Now, I heard about this series a very long time ago because I'm a big fan of Sonic. I'm also a big fan of Mega Man. I've had some of their comics. I've collected artwork from some of their comics individually, and then I heard they were doing a crossover, and I was super excited. I didn't realize it hadn't come out yet. I thought it actually came out a long time ago because I heard the announcement for it like way long ago. But anyway, this is basically a crossover of Mega Man and Sonic. This, you can see Sonic on the front, there's cardboard right there, but Mega Man's on the back side of it. So I think that's a cool crossover. They're both from Archie Comics, so I think that's really cool. Like, everyone loves a crossover. It's always cool to see franchises come together, and it's a #1. And it's exclusive, so I think that's great. And the cool thing about it is it's actually sealed, which is cool too. Like, it's not just bagged and boarded, it's actually like hermetically sealed in there, which is really cool. So I appreciate that, and I think this is I think this will be a good series. I've heard good things about it. So I'm excited to take a look, although I'm reluctant to take it out of the package. I'm actually pretty excited to read this one. So, that was all the items in the box. Let's go back through and talk about some value. First, the shirts. So, 2 shirts, double shirt month. They get the standard $12 to $15 value, but like I said before, they each got a 6 out of 10 because of the narrow market, the specified narrow market they're advertising to. And the quality on them is pretty decent, but I think 6 out of 10 is fair. Next, our pop figure. $10, nothing special about it. There's nothing exclusive or anything. Standard pop price, $10. Then the coasters. Although I do like these and I really like the design on them, they're obviously very cheaply made. They're just pieces of cardboard that are cut out, $2 or $3. I really couldn't see them going for more than that. Honestly, I could see something like this going in like a dollar store or something like that because it is just stamped out cardboard, but I'll give it $2 to $3 because I did like the design. I thought they were very cool. Next, the Cut the Rope guys. I'm sure I'll see this in like Target. I guarantee they'll have it. And it'll probably be like somewhere between $3 and $5. Like probably $3, but if you were going to buy them online, probably like $4 or $5. So somewhere between $3 and $5 on the figure. Then, the CD. So this is obviously not people that are super well known. I'm sure they're popular to some people. But for something like this, that's not like a highly distributed album or anything like that, I see this going for like $5, like right around there. Like a full album that's published by like a record company might be like 10, but stuff like this I could see you going to a concert and then selling this for probably like $5 around there. So I'll give it a $5 value. Then the comic. So this, normally comics are $4, no surprise there, but it is exclusive. But the thing about that I've always said about exclusive items, it's only relative to that item. So if something is very popular or a popular franchise, its exclusivity is going to bring up the value a whole lot. But if it's a franchise that's not that popular, then exclusivity isn't going to matter at all. So, like I was saying, so it depends on the item. So this franchise specifically, I don't think is super popular. Mega Man and Sonic are both very well-known characters, but the comic series themselves isn't crazy popular. It's not like dull or anything, but I don't think it's super popular or anything. Archie Comics in itself isn't a very popular distributor, so this comic, even though it's a cool crossover, I don't think it's like going to be super amazingly popular. So the exclusivity of it doesn't increase the value a tremendous amount, but it does increase it. So this is going to be valued right around $10 to $12, like closer to $10, because I've seen it going for about that much online. Over time, if this series does gain like notoriety in the comic world, then the exclusivity definitely will increase the value over time, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. This is a brand new franchise, so it may just take time to get out there and gain like popularity, but we'll have to see about that. But for now, it's going to get around a $10 rating. So, with that being said, the value on this box, on the low end is going to be about 50, and on the high end about 63. So again, classic Nerd Block Company, they're going to give a value between 50 and 60, which is great. It's usually closer to 50. This one was a little bit higher, but somewhere between 50 and 60 is great. Like can't argue with that. Like that's pretty close to double. And considering it's one of the more expensive boxes, that's something that's harder to do. But again, really no complaints about this company in general. They always put out a good product. They always like mix it up and give you new and interesting items, often exclusive stuff. And it's not stuff that you're seeing every day for the most part. So they always do a good job. But some of the things in here were more specific. Like things like the Worlds Collide, like Mega Man and Sonic. Those are iconic characters. That's classic. The coasters, like that's classic Nintendo. Like even the Cut the Rope guy, everyone recognizes that character. Whereas the t-shirts and the pop, like they were more specific, which is totally fine. Like I would even encourage them to do that, but it's the fact that it is more specific affects the rating, because my ratings are always based on the general market, what the general population would like. So if it's for specific people, then it's not for everyone, and that affects the ratings. It's not my specific taste. It has nothing to do with the fact that I didn't recognize it. It's due to the fact that I don't think a lot of people would recognize those specific things. So that's what I'm basing the rating off of. So you still got good value, and you still got good stuff, some of which was exclusive. So this is going to get a 6.75 out of 10. So still pretty good. You got great value, but hopefully the shirts and stuff aligned with your interest. But if they didn't, it's unfortunate, and that's why it gets a little bit of a lower rating. But let me know what you guys think. If these franchises are way more popular than I'm realizing, let me know. I'm more than happy to be wrong. I need to be if I am, so I can correct myself. So you guys let me know what you thought, and let me know about those specific things. So this has been Arcade Block, 2 shirts, 6s out of 10, box 6.75 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Peace.